Her wine glass tapped the marble counter, and her voice cut through the air like a knife. "She deserves better than you. You're worthless." Laughter followed, from her husband, her sister. Even my wife smiled. I stared at the linen napkin on my lap. Perfectly folded. Disposable. I looked up and locked eyes with her. "You're right, Ma," I said calmly. "She does." Then I stood up, buttoned my coat, gave a small nod, and walked out of her house without turning back. At 1:10 a.m. the next morning, she received 3 texts. One from her lawyer. "The deal is off." One from her daughter. "I hate you." And one from me. "Don't play with trash." But that wasn't the beginning. That was the end. I married Alina 7 years ago, back when love still felt pure. Back when she looked at me like I was her person, not her backup plan. Her mother, Marianne, made her opinion clear from the start. Too quiet. Too plain. Not good enough. Alina always told me I was overthinking it. Still, I played my role. I joined their family trips. Sat quietly through their fake smiles and backhanded comments. And stayed polite while they ignored me like I wasn't even there. But Alina and we were solid. Or so I believed. We made a life, a home. We laughed under blankets in the winter. Talked about having kids. Then last year things started to change. She spent more and more nights at her mother's. Saying she was helping with the estate after Marianne's husband died. She mentioned lawyers, paperwork, real estate. I offered to help. She always said no. I didn't push, but I started to listen. The first red flag showed on our anniversary. I gave her a watch. Simple, beautiful, the kind she used to love. She smiled like I handed her a receipt. That night, her phone lit up at 2:12 a.m. I didn't look. I didn't have to. She flinched when I moved and turned the screen face down. A week later, I overheard a call. Her voice was low and sharp. "He doesn't know anything. Just follow the plan." I didn't say a word. I recorded it. Then I found a second bank account in her name. I saw transfers, payments to a law firm, deposits into her mother's company. Everything started to connect. They weren't just cutting me out. They were selling assets, moving money behind my back. Alina, Marianne, and her lawyer, Mark Denham. The same Mark who gave a toast at our wedding. They thought I wasn't paying attention. But I was. I quietly copied every document. Screenshotted transactions. Downloaded email threads between her and Mark. They were bold. They assumed I couldn't understand legal talk. They assumed trash can't read. I hired my own lawyer. Quietly. No digital trail. I explained everything. "Don't do anything reckless," she warned me. I didn't. I did something smarter. I bought a small recorder and hid it in the guest bathroom at Marianne's. The next week, I forgot my coat. Said I'd come back for it tomorrow. They invited me to dinner. Played dumb. Quietly. They talked right in front of me. I recorded every word. "Marianne. Once the trust is moved, he's out. Clean. He gets nothing." Mark. "He won't even see it coming." Alina. "He won't fight. He never does. Trash doesn't fight." I gathered everything. Audio clips, money records, photos of her and Mark laughing over dinner. I wrapped it all up neatly. Then I waited for Sunday dinner. That night Marianne wore red. Her power color. She was smug from the first sip of wine. "You know," she said, "some people lift their partners. Others drag them down." Everyone laughed. Even Alina. I didn't. I stood and nodded. "You're right, Ma. She does deserve better." Then I left. Silent. In control. The next morning things exploded. Text 1 went to Mark from his top client, Marianne. "You're fired. Your conduct is being reported to the bar." Attached. Audio, screenshots, full complaint. Text 2 went to Alina, from the lawyer I hired. Divorce process started. Evidence of fraud filed. You'll need your own lawyer. Also attached. A photo of her and Mark. And the recording. He won't fight. Text 3 came from her daughter. "You lied. You said Dad was cruel. He wasn't. You were. Don't contact me again. I called. I didn't answer. 3 days later she showed up at my door. Wearing red again. This time wrinkled. Is tired. Voice shaking. You ruined us. I opened the door wider. No, I said. You did. I just cleaned up. She reached out. I stepped back. You don't get to bury someone and act surprised when they dig themselves out. Then I closed the door. And locked it. They misread my silence. They thought not yelling meant not knowing. That not fighting meant not winning. But some of us wait. We don't attack, we aim. They called me trash. But trash doesn't yell. Collects. Trots. And one day it burns. Now they're cleaning up the wreck. And me. I'm just getting started. Don't play with trash.